At 60, your body isn't breaking down, it's adapting. And that adaptation requires something few people talk about: intelligent movement. Many women over 60 are still doing the same exercises they learned decades ago: long walks on pavement, light weights for toning, classic crunches. They seem harmless. But here's the truth: some of these habits can actually speed up aging, not slow it down. And it's not your fault. It's biology. After 60, your body begins to shift in ways that demand a smarter approach. You naturally lose muscle mass, bone density, collagen, and hormonal response to effort. That means certain exercises can trigger joint strain, inflammation, spinal pressure, and fatigue even if you're doing them consistently. The result: you're tired, your progress stalls, and worst of all, you're not getting stronger, leaner, or more energized. In this video, you'll discover 5 common exercises that may be aging you faster, and most importantly, what to do instead. Backed by research from Harvard, Mayo Clinic, and top aging physiology experts, we'll show you how the right kind of movement after 60 can actually stimulate cellular renewal, improve posture, and boost energy without extreme routines or false promises. Because here's the truth: you don't need to work out more. You need to work out smarter. And once you understand that, everything shifts. You wake up lighter, your body responds, and your reflection begins to show not just youth but vitality. The myth of just keep moving: when movement backfires, you've heard it everywhere. Just keep moving. Do something. Anything is better than nothing. It sounds encouraging, but after 60, that message can become dangerous if it's not paired with precision. Let's be clear: movement is essential, but not all movement is equal. In fact, after menopause, some forms of activity that once felt energizing can now increase joint degeneration, cortisol levels, and cellular inflammation without giving you the physical results you're working for. And one of the most misleading habits: long, repetitive walks on hard surfaces. It feels productive, you're sweating, you're getting your steps in. But if your walk lacks variation, strength engagement, and proper mechanics, here's what might actually be happening inside your body: your knees absorb constant impact, without support from surrounding muscles, leading to cartilage breakdown. Your hips tighten from overuse, reducing range of motion and making you more vulnerable to falls. Your spine compresses subtly with every step on concrete, especially if your core is weak or posture is compromised. Now, here's the nuance: walking itself is not the problem. Mindless, unbalanced walking is. After 60, your gait naturally changes, muscle fibers shrink, the cushioning in your joints thins. So, when you repeat the same movement daily without strengthening the right muscles, you're not building endurance, you're reinforcing dysfunction. A study from the University of Pittsburgh found that older adults who walked more than 7,000 steps per day without strength training had significantly higher rates of knee osteoarthritis progression, especially in women. Another truth: many women walk to manage weight, but walking alone is not enough to stimulate muscle maintenance or preserve bone density after 60. That requires resistance. So what should you do instead? Vary your walking surfaces. Switch between grass, trails, and soft tracks to reduce impact. Engage different stabilizer muscles. Add walking poles. They reduce knee strain and activate your upper body, improving posture and calorie burn. Incorporate walk-run intervals, even if brief. Light jogs or 10-second spurts on soft ground can reawaken fast-twitch muscle fibers that are crucial for maintaining balance and preventing falls. Strength train at least twice a week, especially glutes, core, and hamstrings, key muscle groups that protect joints during movement. And here's a critical mindset shift: if your body feels worse after your walk than before, something's off. Exercise should energize you, not drain you, inflame your joints, or increase your stiffness the next morning. Have you ever imagined starting each day with more energy, health, and confidence? My special calendar, 365 Days of Health, Beauty, and Wisdom, has been carefully created with practical tips and daily inspirations that will transform your routine and renew your vitality after 50. Don't wait any longer to live your best days. Click the link pinned in the first comment to get your calendar now. Let's bring this back to something empowering. Walking is not canceled, but it must evolve with your body. Your joints aren't failing you. They're just asking for smarter support. And when you learn to move with intention, engaging the right muscles, adjusting for your unique structure, and avoiding repetitive stress, your daily activity becomes a tool for rejuvenation, not breakdown. The tone arms trap: overuse of light weights. It's a habit almost every woman over 60 has picked up at some point. Small dumbbells, high reps, the classic toning routine. But here's what most people don't realize: if you're lifting the same 1 or 2 pound weights every week, you're not shaping your arms, you're stressing your joints and starving your muscles. Let's break this down. Muscle tone doesn't come from repetition, it comes from resistance. Your muscles, especially after 60, need a specific type of challenge to stay firm, functional, and metabolically active. When you repeatedly lift something light enough to carry in your purse, you're not giving your muscles a reason to adapt. You're just going through the motions. And worse, you may be wearing down your elbow joints and rotator cuffs without realizing it. This is especially true for women with low estrogen, which affects both muscle recovery and tendon elasticity. What feels like good discipline is often just overused without benefit. A study published in the Journal of Strength and Conditioning Research showed that women over 60, who incorporated moderate load resistance using 60 to 75% of their 1 rep max, gain significantly more lean mass and arm definition than those doing higher rep, low-load routines. They also reported less shoulder pain and better grip strength. Why? Because muscle needs stimulus, not just movement. Here's another key insight. Lightweights with high reps mostly train muscular endurance, not strength. But what you actually lose with age isn't endurance, it's power and strength capacity. That's what keeps you upright, balanced, and able to carry groceries or push a suitcase through the airport. So, what's a better alternative? Use progressive overload. Start with weights that feel moderately challenging by the 8th rep, not the 20th. Your muscles need that signal to grow. Prioritize compound movements. Instead of isolating the biceps or triceps with microlifts, focus on rows. Push-ups modified is fine, and presses that engage the entire upper body. Train fewer reps with more intention. Aim for 3 sets of 8 to 10 reps at a weight that makes the last reps feel meaningfully hard, but not painful. Rest properly between sets. Muscle doesn't grow during the reps, it grows in recovery. Allow 60 to 90 seconds between sets to give your body time to reset. One important note, if you have arthritis, osteoporosis, or shoulder injuries, the solution isn't lighter weights, it's smarter loading and proper mechanics. A physical therapist or qualified trainer can guide you toward joint-friendly strength training that builds muscle without increasing pain. Let's also clear up a myth. Lifting heavier weights will not make you bulky. That's a hormonal impossibility for postmenopausal women training naturally. What it will do is rebuild lean tissue, boost metabolism, and help restore that sculpted, energized look most women are chasing with light weights and never achieving. And if that voice in your head says, "But I don't want to get hurt," remember this: weakness is more dangerous than strength. The number one cause of age-related fractures and mobility loss isn't trauma, it's loss of muscle and stability. Preventing that starts now. So if you've been doing the same arm workouts for years and your arms look the same or worse, it's not your fault. Your body simply needs a new message. One rooted in science. One that meets the demands of your age without punishing your joints or wasting your time. And it's time we stop glorifying it. Crunches and sit-ups. What they're doing to your spine, let's get honest. The classic crunch has been glorified for decades. Flat ABS. Strong core. That tightening burn. But for women over 60, traditional crunches and sit-ups are more than outdated, they're harmful, especially to your spine and posture. Here's why. Crunches and sit-ups involve repeated spinal flexion, meaning you're bending your spine over and over again under load. When you're younger and your discs are plump and your core is balanced, your body can tolerate it. But after menopause, your spinal discs lose hydration, your abdominal wall thins, and your posture often shifts forward. That means repeated flexion isn't just ineffective, it can worsen disc compression, aggravate nerve sensitivity, and accelerate age-related posture collapse. And yet, so many women still include crunches in their daily routine. Why? Because they're chasing something that doesn't exist. Localized fat loss. Newsflash: crunches don't burn belly fat. That's a metabolic process, not a muscle one. You could do 100 sit-ups a day and still struggle with your waistline if you're not addressing stress, hormones, and lean mass. But here's the bigger issue. Traditional ab work ignores the muscles that actually matter as you age. The transverse abdominis, which acts like an internal corset, the multifidus, which supports your spine, the glutes and obliques, which stabilize your pelvis, and guess what? Crunches barely touch any of them. According to spinal biomechanics expert Dr. Stuart McGill, sit-ups and crunches create up to 3,000 Newtons of spinal load per repetition. To put that in perspective, that's the same force used in lab tests to simulate disc herniation. So, what's the solution? Ditch the crunches completely, especially if you've ever had back pain, sciatica, or disc issues. Replace them with planks. Front planks, side planks, and modified planks build deep core strength without flexion. Train anti-rotation and stability. Exercises like bird dogs, dead bugs, and farmers' carries train your core to resist movement, its true job. Activate your glutes. Weak glutes often lead to compensation in the low back and abdominals. Bridge lifts, step-ups, and clamshells are your new allies. You don't need a flat stomach to be strong. You need a stable core, which protects your spine, improves balance, and allows you to move confidently through life, from gardening to lifting your grandchild. And yes, this change shows up in the mirror too. Women who switch from traditional ab routines to deep core training often report less back pain, better posture, and a tighter waistline, not because they burned belly fat, but because they retrained the muscles that hold everything in place. Have you ever imagined starting each day with more energy, health, and confidence? My special calendar, 365 Days of Health, Beauty, and Wisdom, has been carefully created with practical tips and daily inspirations that will transform your routine and renew your vitality after 50. Don't wait any longer to live your best days. Click the link pinned in the first comment to get your calendar now. Here's the truth no one tells you. Crunches are easy. Stability is harder. But it's also smarter and far more rewarding in the long run. Once you stop chasing outdated ideals and start building true core intelligence, everything changes: your balance, your silhouette, your sense of control over your body. Time to rethink what intensity really means. High impact. Cardio classes, the invisible inflammation. There's nothing wrong with loving a good sweat. The music, the movement, the community. Zumba, height, step aerobics, trampoline classes, they feel fun, energizing, and productive. But here's what women over 60 often don't realize: those high-impact cardio classes might be aging your body from the inside out, especially if you're doing them multiple times a week. Without recovery or adaptation, let's talk about invisible inflammation after menopause. Your body's inflammatory response becomes more sensitive. That means intense physical stress, especially from jumping, pounding, or rapid directional changes, can elevate cortisol, inflame joints, and interfere with your body's ability to repair tissue. What feels like a good burn may actually be a chronic stress loop. Here's how it works. High-impact cardio raises your heart rate and body temperature, great in theory. But with age, recovery slows and those elevated stress hormones linger longer, keeping your body in a low-grade catabolic state. That can lead to muscle breakdown, stubborn belly fat, joint swelling, and fatigue even if you're exercising regularly. A 2020 study published in the Journal of Aging and Physical Activity found that older adults who performed more than 3 weekly sessions of high-impact cardio had higher systemic inflammation markers than peers who focused on low-impact strength and mobility. The kicker: the high-impact group also reported lower sleep quality and higher joint discomfort, especially in the knees and lower back. Now, does this mean all cardio is bad after 60? Absolutely not, but it means your cardio must be reframed around your current physiology, not your 40-year-old habits. Ask yourself, are you recovering well after class or feeling drained for hours? Do you sleep better on workout days or worse? Are your joints feeling stronger over time or more irritated? Here's what to do if you love cardio but want to protect your body: switch to low-impact formats. Dance-inspired movement is fine, just remove the jumps and sharp twists. Think fluid mobility, not pounding intensity. Limit high impact to once a week if at all. Use the other days for strength, walking, Pilates, or functional mobility. Prioritize eccentric control and tempo. Slow, intentional movement builds deeper strength and stability than fast, erratic jumping. Honor your stress capacity. If you're under emotional, hormonal, or sleep stress, high-intensity exercise can become another burden, not a relief. And here's a critical shift: sweating isn't the metric. Resilience is. You want a workout that leaves you energized, not wired. One that supports your joints, not breaks them down. One that builds strength without depleting your reserves. If you're doing cardio to burn calories, know this: after 60, your metabolism is more influenced by muscle quality and hormonal balance than by calories and versus out. High-impact cardio without strength training can actually shrink muscle mass over time, making your metabolism slower, not faster. Instead, focus on movement that builds neuromuscular intelligence, balance, coordination, muscle control. These not only protect your joints, they support your brain health and cognitive vitality. Here's a smart swap: replace one high-impact class with a mobility plus resistance fusion session, like slow-strength circuits combined with active stretches. It stimulates your nervous system and fascia, keeps cortisol low, and trains your body to move better, not just faster. Another option: try zone cardio, brisk walking, light cycling, or elliptical workouts that keep your heart rate in a steady, manageable range. This has been shown to support mitochondrial health and fat metabolism without overtaxing the system. The truth is, intensity isn't about pain, it's about precision. You can be strong, lean, and energized without ever doing another jumping jack in your life. But you have to train smart and let go of old fitness myths that confuse exhaustion with results. But when done wrong or without balance, they can quietly destabilize your joints and increase your fall risk. Let's talk flexibility and why too much of it can become a liability. Daily stretch routines. When flexibility becomes a liability, stretching feels like self-care. It's slow. It's soothing. It feels good to lengthen tight muscles first thing in the morning. But here's the hidden truth: passive stretching, especially done daily without strength training, can actually make your body more unstable after 60. Yes, flexibility matters. But when flexibility increases without muscular control to support it, you're creating a dangerous gap between how far your joints can move and how well they can stabilize. And that's where injury risk skyrockets. Let's break this down. After menopause, your ligaments naturally lose tension. That means joints like your hips, knees, shoulders, and ankles become more mobile but less stable. Add daily static stretching to the mix, and you're now over-lengthening tissues that are already compromised. Think of it this way: a joint is safest when it moves within a range it can control. When you stretch too far or too often without building strength, you're increasing that range without adding control. That leads to instability, poor balance, and an increased risk of falls or strains. A 2021 study in the Journal of Geriatric Physical Therapy found that older adults who practice static stretching as their primary movement routine showed greater joint laxity and higher fall risk than those who included strength and dynamic mobility. The problem isn't the stretching itself, it's the imbalance. If your routine includes 20 minutes of hamstring or hip stretches, but 0 time strengthening the glutes, core, and stabilizers, you're setting your body up for compensation and collapse. So what should you do instead? Focus on active mobility, not passive flexibility. Mobility is the ability to control movement through a range, not just reach it. Think leg swings, shoulder rolls, spinal waves. Pair every stretch with a strength movement. Stretch your hamstrings. Follow with a glute bridge or deadlift. Stretch your chest. Follow with rows or scapular retractions. Limit deep static stretches to post-exercise or evenings. Never do intense stretching cold in the morning. Your tissues are less pliable and more prone to micro tears. Prioritize balance training over split stretches, standing leg lifts, heel-to-toe walks, or single leg squats. Build neuromuscular strength that directly reduces fall risk. This shift isn't just physical, it's also neurological. When you stretch deeply and passively, your brain gets the message, we're safe to go this far. But if your muscles can't support that range, your body will respond with compensation or tension elsewhere, often in the neck, lower back, or knees. That's why many women who stretch regularly still feel tight. The problem isn't the length of the muscle, it's the lack of strength supporting the joint. And the most misunderstood part, hyperflexibility isn't a sign of youth. It's often a sign of poor joint control. In fact, many dancers and yoga practitioners, especially over 50, experience more joint degeneration not because they didn't move enough, but because they lack the muscular reinforcement to protect those extra degrees of movement. What your body needs after 60 isn't to be more flexible. It's to be more integrated. Strong glutes that stabilize the pelvis. Deep core muscles that support the spine. Shoulders that glide with control, not collapse. Hips that move through daily ranges with strength, not strain. Want to feel more open, mobile, and pain-free? Stop chasing the stretch and start building resilience through stability and smart mobility. Here's a simple morning swap. Instead of a seated hamstring stretch, do slow standing toe taps, activating your core, engaging balance. Replace a forward fold with a hinge and reach, using your hips, not your spine, to fold and return. This kind of intelligent movement restores range and builds strength at once, giving your body what it truly needs to move youthfully and safely. It's about doing what's right for your body today. Let's close this with clarity. Let's bring this all together with one simple truth. Your body, after 60, is not a problem to fix, it's a system to understand. Every exercise we've covered, long repetitive walks, light weights, crunches, high-impact cardio, and passive stretching, is one thing in common. They're habits that worked at a different stage of life. But your body has changed. And if your routine doesn't change with it, even well-intentioned movement can accelerate aging, not prevent it. This doesn't mean you should stop exercising. It means you should start exercising with more intelligence and intention. Let's recap. Movement without strength leads to joint overload. Repetition without challenge creates stagnation. Intensity without recovery feeds inflammation. Flexibility without stability increases your risk of falling. The solution isn't more effort. It's better alignment between how your body moves now and how it needs to be supported. And here's what's truly empowering. You don't need to chase extreme fitness goals to stay strong, energized, and confident. You just need to let go of outdated advice and listen to what your body is really asking for, which is balance, structure, and resilience. Thousands of women over 60 are rediscovering their vitality by making small but strategic changes, trading long walks for glute activation, crunches for core stability, cardio marathons for mobility circuits. They're not exercising harder, they're exercising smarter. And you can too. Start by asking, does my current routine reflect where my body is now or where it used to be? That one question can shift everything. Because the goal isn't to move like you did at 30. It's to move in a way that makes you feel strong, stable, and alive at every stage forward. And that kind of movement doesn't just change how you look. It changes how you live.